Since Trump returned to the White House, he's done a number of mistakes, some possibly reversible, others, I believe, intentional. Share your thoughts in the comments what you think they are. Let's get into it.
Since returning to office in January 2025, US President Donald Trump has made several controversial decisions that have not only strained America's global alliances, but also risked long-term economic and security stability. His America First approach, rather than strengthening the nation, has led to unintended consequences, many of which may be irreversible. Let's examine some of the most damaging mistakes Trump has made, along with their severe repercussions for the United States and the Western world. One of Trump's first major policy moves was reintroducing tariffs on imports from key US allies, including Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. These actions led to retaliatory tariffs from affected countries, worsening trade relations and disrupting supply chains. Increased costs for goods ranging from automobiles to agricultural products have hit American consumers hard, leading to inflationary pressures. By alienating allies, the US has given economic competitors, particularly China, more room to establish stronger trade partnerships with Europe and North America. Trump has continued his long-standing criticism of NATO, insisting that European allies should increase their defense spending. More concerning, he has threatened to significantly reduce the US military presence in Europe. A weakened US military presence emboldens adversaries like Russia, increasing the likelihood of aggression against NATO allies. Without strong US support, Eastern European nations, particularly those bordering Russia, could become vulnerable to Moscow's influence or even direct threats. If the US distances itself from NATO, China may step in as a diplomatic and military partner to European nations, increasing Beijing's geopolitical leverage. Trump's drastic reductions in foreign aid, particularly to the US Agency for International Development, have weakened America's ability to project influence abroad. The US has long used foreign aid to promote democracy, economic stability, and human rights. Without it, authoritarian regimes have fewer obstacles in expanding their influence. China's Belt and Road Initiative has already made significant inroads in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. With the US retreating from development aid, Beijing will further solidify its economic and diplomatic ties with key global players. Many regions reliant on US support may turn to less democratic nations for assistance, further eroding American influence. Trump's foreign policy decisions are not merely miscalculations. They are actively contributing to the decline of the Western-led global order. His actions weaken America's ability to counter rising authoritarian regimes, particularly China and Russia. With reduced influence in Europe and developing nations, the US is ceding power to its biggest geopolitical rivals. Trump's decisions have led many to question his understanding of international relations and economic policy. His actions seem to align with the interests of Russia and China rather than serving US strategic goals. Whether due to incompetence or something more deliberate, his presidency is accelerating the decline of Western influence and stability. If these policies continue unchecked, the world could see an unprecedented shift in power dynamics, one where authoritarian states dictate the global agenda while the US and its allies struggle to regain lost ground. America's leadership on the world stage is at stake, and unless drastic corrective measures are taken, Trump's legacy may be one of irreversible decline. While Trump's policies weaken Western alliances, the ongoing war in Ukraine poses a catastrophic environmental threat that demands urgent global attention. Along the front lines, military contamination is devastating land and groundwater on an unprecedented scale. An estimated 30% of Ukraine's territory is now contaminated with landmines and unexploded ordnance, rendering vast swaths of its most fertile agricultural land unusable. This not only threatens Ukraine's economy, but also disrupts food supplies to Europe and the Middle East, pushing millions toward potential food shortages and starvation. Russia must be held accountable for the destruction it has caused and be compelled to fund the remediation of Ukraine's land ensuring a future where agriculture and safe living conditions can be restored. As the war in Ukraine continues, the devastation extends far beyond the battlefield. Landmines and unexploded ordnance are turning towns, fields and roads into deadly traps, leaving communities unable to rebuild or even return home safely. At International Action Alliance Ltd, a not-for-profit organization I founded earlier this year, we're committed to changing this. Our demining and contamination assessment project aims to clear these hidden dangers, restore safety, and help Ukraine recover from the scars of war. Your support can make a tangible difference. By contributing to our demining efforts, you'll help provide the tools, training, and expertise needed to clear landmines effectively and assess exposure to the present contaminants in war-affected regions. This isn't just about saving lives, it's about giving families the chance to reclaim their homes and farmers the opportunity to cultivate their land again. Together, we can ensure that Ukraine's future isn't overshadowed by the remnants of war. Let's stand with Ukraine. Please consider donating to our demining project and being part of the solution. Every contribution brings us closer to a safer, brighter future for Ukraine.